Hey everyone, wanted to give you an update. This is where we're at with the Rockstack tank. It turned out really well. I've got my 3 pillars of rocks there. The silicone in between the stacks really turned out pretty invisible. I like the look. I think it did okay. One of the things I did find when I was putting these together is that when you put together your stacks, obviously I started with fairly flat kind of foundation stones that as I was able to stack the tank made it easier to keep it level. But when you put it in here, you have to have something kind of subsurface to keep the stack from falling over. Otherwise you're gonna, this foundation stone, the one that you kind of started with, becomes invisible. It has to go under the gravel. So under all 3 of these, I've got what I was calling kind of like the keel of a boat. You've got a smaller diameter stone that's underneath that all the gravel can kind of come up around. So like a sailboat has a weighted keel to keep it afloat or upright. You need the same kind of with these. Otherwise, you have to lose this rock. It goes underground, and then you're kind of with those, which you could do. But when I put so much work kind of selecting the rock I wanted to see, I elected to put another rock underneath. So what I've got here is it's going to be a single plant types tank, and I've got the standard pearlweed in there. You can see it's about day 4 or 5 in there, and I'm getting a little melt and leaf drop, but hopefully that will correct over the next few days. And the idea is that you would have this kind of kelp forest look as these kind of come up, obscuring the rocks a bit and kind of coming up and around, giving some height. I intend to kind of keep the middle a little bit pruned, and then maybe let the sides and the back kind of fill in, give a little bit of height. So that's what I'm going for with those rocks. The other thing I did in this tank is I changed the lighting up a bit. In most of my other tanks, I've got the Fougere or the Phoenix Planted Plus, and here I went with the Fougere. It's a little bit brighter, not as the color's not as warm, but with this high light requiring plant, I wanted to explore just a different LED system and how it looked and how it worked. So I've got that going in here. I don't think I'm gonna put any floating plants. I want to keep this pretty bright. The fish, they came in today and they've just come off drip not long ago and have been added, are Microprocilia picta, the swamp guppies. And this fish has been on my wanted list for a long time. I'm pretty excited to kind of explore playing around with this one. I know they can be challenging. The males can be pretty aggressive towards the females. Just never leave them alone. But we'll see how it does. They're fairly gray at this point. Obviously the females won't color up, but the males don't have much color. I'm not sure if that's just because they're immature or a little bit of their fear coloring since they just got added, but it could be that they just will color up as they mature. I don't know the species, so it's all new to me, and I'm excited to see how they perform. So there it is, guys, and I would say that this tank started out as a rescape of another tank. I actually did rescape it, but I kept it. So I put in another rack, and this is my tank number 7. So I set up another rack, and I've got 2 more empty spaces. So over the next months or year, we'll fill those in as I'm able to find fish that are on my wanted list. One of the things I would like to try eventually is raising either Daphnia or the Scuds, Gamaris. It's kind of on my want to try list. So I may do that in one of those 2 empty spots. We'll see how it goes. But there's the tank, guys, and I hope you enjoy it. I'll give you an update in a month or so as this kind of grows up, and we'll see how it does. All right, thanks, everyone. Bye.